Juarez, our associate pastor.
Welcome. Okay, so my background is in business. I also taught school for 11 years, and I've got to close the door.
Too distracting.
Yeah. Okay. I graduated with a business degree and in management, and then worked for an oil and gas company for a number of years. And then we moved. I had children, and then we moved to Tulsa, and I started teaching school. And then we moved back to Houston, and I kept teaching school. And I've taught everything from 4th grade to 12th. So this is my first time to teach older people. I'm not going to call you kids because you're not really kids anymore. So how many, okay, so I've got a couple of questions. Got to pull this up now. What we're going to be talking about tonight is finance and budgeting, and you're probably thinking, oh, yuck, but it can be fun.
I think we actually all asked for this.
Did you?
Yeah.
You wanted this? Oh, awesome. Okay, so how many of you have you taken finance classes?
Yeah.
Does personal financial literacy in high school count?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Yes, I did that one time.
I did it freshman
I think I passed.
6 years ago.
Okay.
6 years ago.
Good. Well, the good thing about it is not a whole lot changes. So it's not like science where everything's changing all the time, or technology. All right, so there's a stigma that comes with money. Whether you have a little or a lot, there's a thought that comes with it. So the thought with having little is you're a loser. Not true. A thought with having a lot is that you're smart and successful. Also not necessarily true. So what I want us to establish tonight is what you have or what you don't have, it can change literally within a matter of hours. All right? How many people have heard of people winning the lottery? And I don't advocate that, but you make a good decision, you make wise decisions, and your financial life can change in an instant. So how many of y'all are living at home right now? Okay, so 3. The girls, okay. And so, hi.
He's living at home too.
I'm like,
This is
Okay.
Brent. You can call him Brent.
Hey, Brent.
He's from the house of Brent.
Okay, Cassie, can I get y'all to move down just a little, because I'm afraid Brent's not going to be able to see. Okay, Brent, I'm Kim. All right.
Call her Kim.
I won't. You can call me Kim. I go by Kim. Okay, so Brent, you live at home,
yes, ma'am.
and you 3 girls live at home. So how many of you are living, I guess the answer is obvious, on your own? Like you're out from underneath mom and dad.
Living in your daughter's attic, does that count as living on your own?
Okay, kind of, sort of. So, and you don't have to raise your hand if this is an awkward question, but I just want y'all to understand, at this age, none of this is awkward, okay? Now, if you were 50 years old and still living with mom and dad, yeah, that's awkward, okay?
Yeah.
So, at this point, not a problem. So, if you are living on your own, are you living on your own completely 100% financially on your own? You pay for your cell phone, you pay for your insurance, your car, your rent, you never see a dime from your mom and dad. Okay, so how many are like that? Okay, so now let me ask you a question. You pay for your utilities?
No.
Okay, so no one in this room is living 100% on their own. There is still a little bit of help from mom and dad, and that's perfectly fine at this point. What is your goal? Is your goal to stay like this? Some people actually have that goal, and they think it's a pretty sweet deal. Okay, that is not how we were created. Okay, so how many of you, whether you live at home or not, have ever created a budget? A personal budget for for a month? Okay?
I did it one time. I don't know.
You did it once?
Never did it again.
Okay, why not?
Because I just didn't really think to do it. My dad did it for me.
Okay.
I never do it ever again.
Okay, so who else raised it? So Cole, you've created a budget for yourself.
On a tissue paper.
Okay.
Just like this. All right, I can keep
cherishes
going.
it
Gonna have
everywhere he
coffee
goes.
today. I'll have coffee
Okay, so
today.
why did you create that budget?
just so I know I had funds to be able to keep doing what I'm doing.
Okay, necessary funds.
Yeah.
Okay, who else raised their hand? Okay, Cassie.
Same reason, really. Like, I wanted to make sure I had enough to pay my bills with every paycheck I get.
Okay.
And go through.
Okay, so how did that work out for you?
I have a lot left over.
Really? Did it help?
Yeah, because a lot of it's going for Christmas.
It helped to see where your money's going and where it's coming from. Okay. Do you still live by budget?
Sometimes.
Okay. That's perfectly fine. Okay. You've created a budget before?
I did create a budget. I didn't have to completely fulfill the budget upon creating it, but some things have shifted around, and so I need to go back and recreate a budget.
Okay. Okay. Brent?
I haven't created my own budget, but I'm trying to get a trade system kind of thing going. Kind of like I'll do something like you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. Kind of like I'm mechanically inclined,
Okay.
so like but I just don't like taking advantage of that. And I feel like it's kind of like a selfish thing.
So kind of like a barter thing that I'll fix your car for you if you will
Help me with something else.
do
that I
something else.
need.
Okay. So what are the challenges with that?
I'm just living with my parents. I feel it would kind of be like, I don't know, kind of weird just to have people come to my house that my parents don't know or that they're not familiar with.
Yeah.
Their house, so I can do something for other people.
Right, right. Yeah, that can be a little bit of a problem. Okay, so I want to show you some statistics that are for real. They are designed to scare you. And hopefully, you know, how when you tell people when you're little kids, if you don't ask Jesus in your heart, you're going to hell. You know, that kind of thing. Okay, so if you don't handle your finances well, you won't go to hell, but you'll feel like you're in hell. Okay, so this is pretty recent. Some of these statistics are from 2017 even, and some of them go back a couple years more. So only 1/3 of Americans maintain a household budget. Okay, it's not too bad. You are more inclined to create a budget if you make at least $75,000 a year. So a lot of times we think having a budget is because I don't make very much, and so I've got to really be careful with it. But it's the more wealthy, higher incomes that actually create the budgets. 19% of Americans have $0 saved for an emergency. And an emergency is defined as anything under $1,000 that you're not expecting. So say your car breaks down and you need, you know, I don't know how much a new fuel pump costs. What is a new fuel pump?
$75.
$75. If you have zero, can you drive without a fuel pump?
Nope.
No. Okay, so if you have zero saved for that emergency, it's only a $75 emergency. Is that labor and everything, or is that just
No, that's
the
just
part?
part.
That's just the part. So now you've got to add at least another $100 for labor. So you need $200 to replace your fuel pump. You're stuck. You can't go to work to make the money that you need
Fix a
to pay for the car part. So emergency funds, we'll talk about this. Only 37% of Americans, and this is a crazy low number, although this is not too bad, but this is really sad. Only 37% of Americans have enough to cover a $500 to $1,000 emergency. So what would a $500 to $1,000 emergency be that you can think of in your life?
Hospital?
Okay, you got to go to the hospital. You're looking at thousands. Hospital, depending on what it is. What else?
Deductible for your car if you get in a wreck.
Okay, let's say you get in a wreck. Hopefully you all have auto insurance, but there is a deductible, and if it is your fault, that's not going to be pretty. Okay, so we think okay, well maybe only poor people should create budgets. Then we look at this: only 1 in 5 Americans that are facing a financial hardship are below the poverty line. So when you think about this, you think, so you've got 80% are above the poverty line and they're facing financial problems. 80% of Americans who face financial problems are above the poverty line. So having debt is not an income problem, it's an outgo problem. So you're spending more than what you're bringing in. And you think, well, that's a real simple concept, but yet how many million Americans don't get it? 25% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck all the time. There are 75% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck some of the time, but 25% all the time. So your paycheck is $1,000, and from the time you get your next paycheck, that $1,000 is gone. And you're literally living from paycheck to paycheck. 63% of Americans carry credit card debt. That's scary because the credit card companies are banking off of people having credit card debt. A 2016 graduate walked off that graduation platform. The average debt was $37,000.
At high school or college?
College. And that's student loans, credit cards, everything. That is the saddest thing to me, for kids to go to college and then walk away with this much debt, because you're already behind the 8 ball. Okay, what do y'all think about any of this? Comments? Does it surprise you? Does anything surprise you?
I already have that. And I'm working on it.
Yeah.
I was going to college. The only deal me and my parents made is buy big degrees. They paid for my college, and it didn't go up so well. So I have accumulated $3,000 in debt.
Yeah. It's really important that if you are in debt, I'm not judging you, I've been in debt, and we lived in debt because of a mindset that we had. And so Arlanda and I got married in the 80s, and what we were told, or what we were led to believe, is you can have everything your parents have. Just get a credit card. Yeah, that's what everybody's doing. Credit cards, they're great, they're awesome, they're wonderful. And no one, here I am, a graduate with a business degree, and no one told us, do not go into debt. And so, oh man, we went into debt. And so we then get to a point that, okay, well, let's consolidate, which means you go get one loan to pay for this credit card and this credit card and this credit card and this credit card, and you get a lower interest rate. Okay, good. Whew, we're done. Now all we have to do is pay this one thing. And then guess what happened? We had nothing saved up for an emergency. An emergency comes, we've got to put it on the credit card. And now we have the consolidated credit card, consolidated loan we're paying for, and then now we've got the emergency. And we find ourselves back in the exact same situation. We consolidated our credit cards 3 times over our married life. When we left Houston in 2009, it was the first time in our married life that we were not in debt. And we said, hallelujah, this feels awesome. It was literally like we had been set free. And we said, never again will we ever be in debt like that. We have a house payment and a car payment, and that's it. No credit card payments, no credit card debt. Okay, so to avoid debt, formulating a realistic budget based on your goals and your plans for the future is imperative. Now, for some of you, you need to write it down. You need to look at it every day. Others of you, depending, because you're all at different places with your income, others of you will think about it and you might be okay and good to go. But I'm going to lean more towards this is what you really need to do to avoid this. Okay? So having a budget doesn't mean you don't know how to manage your money. It's quite the opposite. When you have a budget, that means you know how to manage your money. So the one thing about this that stuck out to me is when you're in this situation, this one, and this one, your money is controlling you. When you have enough to cover an emergency, when you're not facing financial hardship, when you're not having to live paycheck money's not a bad thing. Wealth is not a bad thing. Who likes wealth? I'll raise both hands.
Yeah.
We want wealth. But if you don't control it, it will control you. Okay, so I have a fun thing for you.
Oh.
Okay, so y'all can share. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. I have pens.
You said it louder. So.
I literally just whispered in his ear.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So everyone's gonna need a pen.
Give me a calculator.
Is there enough money?
I got enough if you wanna do it.
You got
$1,
pens.
Derek.
You grant.
Okay.
Thank you.
Pen.
You got pens?
Okay, you need a pen?
Not for you though.
Okay, here's a pen. I got pens.
I can't eat it. I have to take it back. No, you didn't get a.
Oh, I didn't get it.
Okay.
I can't eat it.
Thank you.
Okay, so before we can establish a budget, we have to establish goals because otherwise you don't know why you're creating your budget. So there are three terms. When you're thinking a budget, you want to and your goals, you want to think some short term. Now, short term is going to be anywhere from now until November 18th. So 1 to 4 weeks. Then you have your mid-term goals. It's going to be anywhere from about a month and a half, 2 months to a year. And then you've got your long-term goals, which would be about a year on. Okay? So, why? Okay, no, we'll just go on that. Okay, so open up that first part. And we're going to go through this really quickly. You're going to have plenty of time to do it, but you don't have to write 6. So what I want you to do is list a couple of, at least 2 items if you can, on what some of these goals are. So like your educational goals, your social, financial, family, health and physical, recreational, and it doesn't necessarily have to pertain financially, if that makes any sense. It's just, don't think finances. Think, this is what my family goal is. My family goal is maybe to get married, to have a family, to have 3.1 kids, whatever.
0.1. Isn't that the national average?
No, I don't know.
0.1.
So, okay.
2.5.
Derek, what's your sheet up?
goals and recreational goals exactly?
Thank you. I've been waiting for somebody to ask this whole time.
Okay, so a social goal could be something, y'all are gonna laugh at it. Social goal could be something like, I want to be part of the Bixby Auxiliary Club, because it's a social
So it's like
thing.
social status.
Social status.
What if you don't have it?
That's fine. Or okay, and then recreational goals could be, I want to own my own gym, or I want to, and that could be a business goal, or
Yeah, but like recreational,
like I want to have I want to be a surfer.
oh, I don't know.
so
but
just
Surfer, yeah, that sounds great.
I want to be a surfer.
Yeah, but like yeah,
Okay.
like I want because that's going to take finances.
Okay.
Okay, I have to tell you my conversation
Oh
about
my
a girl that
God.
wanted to be a
Please pass me
photographer.
the plate.
Oh
No, you're gonna take it.
no.
You can
Take
have
it.
I'm gonna take a line to lunch just for this.
Yeah, I know,
And for
so
my support, so it's worth it.
Jen has a full Reese's peanut butter cup in her office.
Dude,
You
I'll
should
take
get
off my
one.
Invisalign for it.
You should get one.
I don't know how I feel about this candy. You put it
Oh,
out
wait,
right
oh,
after you
no,
talked
no,
about
super
credit cards,
excited.
and you didn't give any context. You just set that there.
I swear.
Because
I don't like it.
Because your favorite teacher always gives you candy. I
Stop.
learned that after 11 years of teaching.
No, wait, that was a different thing. Actually.
No, wait,
Because
Oh,
bribery.
it's in her office.
Yep. Yeah, she did give me candy.
She didn't give it to you. It was just done.
No, no, she gave me candy.
And over the year, I mean, she did sometimes have that candy while on her
I
desk.
miss the Dragon Fruit Starburst.
Because like what I'm thinking is,
Not
a lot of things went down after 6,000.
Kill it.
No, I didn't.
No.
What is it?
Oh, I got
I
it.
got a lot of
Don't look at me.
I did. I put it on the ground.
What is it?
I don't think it was
Fly.
a fly. No, it wasn't a fly. It was
And then
too small.
even if
But
I
I
didn't
don't know.
work,
It was a miniature fly.
It was a miniature fly.
It was a baby.
No, it had like really big wings.
Okay, is everybody
Didn't look
finished?
fly.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Okay. Let me tell you that my story about this girl that she was a little dingy, okay? And, she's the kind of person that would say, this week I want to be a fashion model, and next week I want to be an archaeologist, that kind of thing. And so,
Today my name is Delilah.
yeah, so she came to me one day and she said, I want to be a photographer, and I was a photographer. And she said, I was told I should talk to you. And I said, okay, well, I knew her financial status. And she was all excited. She's going to go to school. She's going to be a photographer. I said, that's really awesome. I said, this is going to... So it kind of just went in, started asking questions about camera equipment and all this kind of stuff. And she literally had a point and shoot. Y'all know what... We have phones now, but back in the day, you just pointed and
shot
pressed the
it,
button.
we wound it up
And
and-
it autofocused, and she thought that she could be a photographer with her little point and shoot. So, dose of reality. Okay, so what I want is I need a volunteer. So I want a volunteer. Look through your goals. Look, and let's try to take this a little seriously because you're going to do this on your own. Pick a goal. I need a volunteer to pick a goal that you think is a little difficult. That what we're going to do is we're going to brainstorm the resources that are necessary to fulfill that goal, because this is where budgets come in. Okay? So does anyone have a goal that seems like, and don't be embarrassed, that is like, I really want to do this, but I don't know how to get there?
Hold on.
Quit tattling.
Yeah, I have 3 mortgages.
You have 3, but
Three.
you flip houses.
Yes.
Yeah? Okay, so
Well,
what?
I buy
I
them,
mean,
fix
you-
them, and then rent them.
Rent them out.
What? My dad does that. Sorry. I didn't know he did that.
Okay, so what's your goal?
I'd like to have them paid off so I don't have to worry about them and just collect income from them.
Okay, so this is gonna be tough because I don't know. I don't know the answer to this. Ask me a church finance question, I'll give it to you all day long. Okay, so you got so
3
the
mortgages.
goal is to pay off
Mortgage.
3 mortgages. Okay, so that's the goal. Do you want to make money on the deal?
Well, what do you mean?
Okay, so you pay off the 3 mortgages. Are you still still gonna be renting out?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're not just wanting to sell,
No.
right? Okay, so pay off 3 mortgages and make money. You want it to pay for itself? Okay.
2 of them already are. And then the third one I'm living in, and that's where I'm kind of stuck.
Okay, so how did you get people in the 2?
I used Zillow and on one, and then on the other I just knew a friend
Okay.
that wanted to live in one.
So is that not working on the 3rd one? Or you want to stay?
He lives in it.
I know, do you want to stay in it?
I'd like to live in it. Well, legally I have to live in it for a year,
Okay,
based off how the mortgage is.
okay,
But after that year, I'd like to move out and then have someone else in there.
okay, and when is that year up?
I think July.
Okay, so you're about a third of the way in.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so what are some resources and help him out? How can he do this?
Income.
Okay, so the 3rd mortgage, the one that the first 2 are paying for itself.
Yeah.
Okay, so we don't need to worry about that one right now. Okay, so really, you just need money for one. Well, just for this. Okay, so is this your only source of income?
I work.
Those 2 houses?
No.
Okay, so you work with your dad?
Yeah.
Okay, so do you need to get another job then to cover it? Are you in upside down, like are you bleeding out every month? No. Okay, so your plan, so what is your plan? According to you, what is your plan?
Well, right now, I could survive this year, and then after that year, I can have someone else in there. And then after that, I don't know.
Okay.
Because honestly, I don't want to live back with my parents, because if I go back with my parents, I don't have to, worry about the mortgage. You know what I mean?
Okay, so the plan, let's come up with a plan. Not that you have to abide by it, but let's just come up with a plan. Okay, so y'all help me out. Give me the answers.
One thing I've been looking forward to happening is a roommate. I think I told y'all about this.
Okay.
Did that not go through?
Bet. Huh?
Did that not go through? I thought you said you found.
I found a renter,
Okay.
but I'm still looking for a roommate at my house.
Okay, so you need a roommate.
Brent's over.
Brent's volunteering. Does Brent have the income to support?
I can pay for gas. I can pay for.
Can you pay rent?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so how much is rent?
That's so much information. You shouldn't have volunteered.
Okay, so
Don't be
let's
shooting
just
over my
come
head
up with a
here,
number.
$7,000.
No, don't do that to
You
me.
can shoot him in the head. Also, because he said not to shoot over, just shoot him in the head.
No.
I guess maybe 350, 400 if we split.
So
That would be
400,
great.
but that does not include utilities.
That does.
It does. Okay. So let's say, what about taxes, insurance, all that?
Should be built to
That covers the insurance as well, but not taxes.
Okay. So let's say 500, because you're gonna need extra for incidentals. Things come up. Okay. So you need a roommate who can cover 500. But then when you move out in July, that roommate would potentially move out as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so this could be temporary.
Better be going along.
Okay, so what else? How else can you? Anyone? What else can you do?
I mean, for the next year,
Pay off the mortgage.
he has to be in it.
Right.
So, I mean, bringing on someone else is just like, that's the simplest thing, but you can work part-time, but you're already
The more the
working
merrier,
a ton of
don't you think?
hours.
Well, I say that.
So,
Work more hours.
only
I
salary.
don't see
so it
any
doesn't
problem
work.
with that.
How big is
Okay,
the house?
are you
The
paying
roommate.
more than the house payment? Are you paying
I'm
more
paying
than the
extra on the
mortgage?
principal.
You're okay. That's good. So does everyone understand what he's doing?
No.
No.
Okay.
I was just about to ask something.
Okay, that's good.
He's got a
Adam,
principal.
don't
and
hesitate
he's
to raise your
got-
hand.
I don't know what a principal is.
I mean, I'd like to hear what you're saying.
Principal
so I
or
know
principal?
If I'm
Principal.
Principal is the value of the home.
Okay, so when you take out a loan for a house, let's say the house is $100,000, then you have your principal and then you have your interest. And because you're taking out a loan, they're going to charge you interest. So out of the monthly pay that the check he writes monthly, it could be for the first year, you're paying, let's say the monthly payment is $1,000, and $800 of that could be going to interest.
Might be higher.
So you're only paying $200 on the principal, and that's not, the numbers aren't for real, but it is that upside down, that you're paying interest for the first 75% of the loan and then your last amount. So that's what I mean by interest and principal and taxes. Yes.
I got super confused. Like the moment you started explaining it.
Okay.
My
It's
head
all
started
the
hurting.
names.
Okay, so
Use candy.
let's say you buy a house for $100,000.
Yeah.
Okay, the numbers are not going to be accurate, but the idea
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have to take out a loan. Well, they're going to charge you interest because you're borrowing
Do
money.
you have to take out the $100,000 loan? Is that what the?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Or you can take out $80,000, but let's say he took out the full $100,000.
I have a quick rabbit trail question. Do you have to take a loan to buy the house?
Yes.
No,
If you wanna
but
buy a house.
if
He is.
unless you can walk in
Or-
and pull the money out of your
Okay.
pocket.
Yeah, if you have,
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
gonna
and
say,
some people do that.
isn't it true that like if you pay with credit, like you pay like some percent like credit interest or something like that?
Well, it's the same thing. Anytime you don't pay your credit card in full every month, you're paying interest.
Yeah.
Because you're in essence borrowing money.
Isn't there a percentage that they add on to it if
Yeah.
you're paying by card?
Yeah.
And then cash, it's either gonna be lower or about the same, but they don't charge you like.
It depends. Different companies do different things.
Okay.
Okay, so for the sake of Cole and his situation, he takes out $100,000 for the house loan. Okay, so just to keep it simple, now he's got to pay it back every month, right? And sometimes it's a 15-year, and other times it's a 30-year loan. And so let's just say that he's paying $1,000 per month towards Bank of USA. All right, because that's where his loan is with. So out of that 1,000, for the first year, you're probably paying $900 in interest and $100 towards the principal.
Escrow also, but
Yeah, we won't.
okay. Cool, Derek.
so really you've only paid $100 down.
So
Per month.
so after, say he took out the loan in July, in August he now owes
99900.
Wow.
right? Is that right?
That's
Zero.
only $1. Add on, take those last two 99s off.
Yeah. Wow.
So in 1 month, he only paid off $100.
Yeah.
Okay. So after 10 months, he still owes $99,000. And
Even though I
that's
was
10
paying
months
10.
of paying $1,000.
So I
So
paid
that's
$10,000.
that's a house payment, and you know that going in. That's just how they operate. That's the first few years. As you get on down the road, then this interest, the percentage, this diminishes and this increases to where like the last year you're paying on the house, you're paying $992 in principal and $8 in interest. But that's not. They want to make sure they make their money first. Okay, does that make sense? Have I totally confused you?
But
Okay.
the interest of the actual amount of credit adds up to when you do all the math. So you might give this much, but the interest is how much it's actually.
Okay, so this first year he needs a roommate. That would help, and that roommate needs to be possibly temporary and be able to pay $500. Yeah,
Per month.
and it's got to be someone he gets along with. It's huge. And just FYI, dating does not prepare you for marriage. Having a roommate prepares you for marriage. Just FYI. Okay, so okay, so let's say so you're good on this. I mean, there's really not a whole lot of extra you can do unless you want to work extra jobs and do all that.
It kind of helps when the roommate or like they both like when one has like 2 jobs and another one. Because I mean, I have a full-time job, 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, and I get like a raise probably every 6 months.
Yeah, but your roommate, he can't charge his roommate more because his roommate's not buying the house, he's buying the house.
Yeah.
So, but now he can take, because he can afford the $1,000 a month, he can take that $500 and keep adding it to the principal. And so it will pay down the loan faster.
So
Okay.
the roommate is just.
The roommate's gonna help him pay, yeah. But the roommate's not gonna get any benefit from that except a roof over his head. Okay, so now, let's say your year is up. You move out, you find someone to rent the house. Okay, but now what does life look like for you to accomplish this goal?
So if all 3 are rented, I won't have any expenses, but I'll be back with my parents if that's the way I want to go, but I don't want to.
Okay, so you can it opens you up to more options of you can rent an apartment, you can go buy another house, you can do all that, but then you're getting yourself into another mortgage.
Another loop.
So,
Yeah.
so someone tell me why living with his parents might be the best thing.
So I can save up this month.
I have no payments.
No payments, you pay it off faster.
Only payments you'd have are the ones that you acquire without living.
Yeah. And sometimes parents charge rent.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Parents
Yeah, so that could be it too.
that much.
So ideally, it's like now you got to ask yourself, how long do you want to take to pay off that mortgage? Like, do you want to pay it off in 5 years? Well, if you do, moving back with your parents is probably going to be the best thing. If you're like, well, it's a 15-year loan, I really don't care, I've got renters, we'll cover it, then you can go do this all over again. So it's just going to have to be a thing that what I would say is you better pray and get the peace of God on it. And any major financial decision that you're doing, if it is not covered in prayer, 9 times out of 10 you'll make a mistake. Trust me, been there, done that lots of times. Okay, so now go back on yours, pick 1 or 2, and go to the next sheet where it says working with your goals. And it says choose 2 goals from each category that are the most important to you. Okay, we're not going to have time. We're not going to take the time to do that. I think you know the difference between short term, medium term, and long term. But now what I want you to do is just take one of your goals, and where it says goal 1, one of your that's the most important goal to you. What I can be doing now to work towards this goal and the resources I need to achieve this goal. Okay, so pick one and just do that. Okay, so everybody got one done? Okay, does that help you? Does it help bring a little bit of clarity to it? Anybody stumped? Like, I don't know what we were doing or how this is gonna work. You got it? Okay, would anyone like to share? You don't have to. I'm not gonna make you because I know.
I can share mine if no one else wants to.
Okay.
Okay, so my number one goal financially is to pay off my house. And so, because we are so early in the mortgage, how I'm working towards that goal is making double principal payments. We're so early in the mortgage, so just like that, $1,000 or in the $100 a month is a double payment. So, for the way it works is we're paying off every month. We're paying 2 payments basically, and it's only costing us a quarter of the price to make a second payment. So it's essentially halving the term of our loan. So that's what we're working on now.
Okay.
It's roughly like $300 a month right now.
Okay, so if I can use you, if you don't mind answering personal questions.
Sure.
So you're doing this. Do y'all also have money set aside for an emergency? Okay, that's vitally important, because if you're paying this extra stuff off, but you don't have an emergency fund set up, then you find yourself in a dangerous situation. So what should you do if, okay, I've got credit card debt, but I have zero money for an emergency? What should you do?
So you have no credit card debt,
Use a
but no
credit
money
card.
for.
You don't have credit card debt, but you have a credit card that you pay each month. And so, but you don't want to go into credit card debt, but you also don't have any emergency fund. Or let's say you do have credit card debt and you're trying, let's say, okay, just for the sake of example, let's say you've got $2,000 in credit card debt. Okay, you're really, really trying to knock this out. So based just on your income, your monthly payment, what they require, is probably only $20.
Don't do it.
Yeah, don't ever pay the minimum. Never, 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 never. Okay, so you look at this and you think, okay, Kim said never pay the minimum, so I'm gonna double the minimum and I'm gonna pay $40. Okay, so you're trying to pay down this debt, and I don't know the math in my head to tell you, but it's going to take you years to pay that $2,000 down if you don't even add another dime to it. Just paying the minimum. You basically
Credit cards are the
will never
worst.
pay it off. It's
The worst.
like impossible. So you want to double it, but you have, and let's say, okay, now I'm going to get really aggressive. I got a pay raise at work, and now I'm making more money. So now I'm going to pay $100 a month.
Whoa.
Got a really nice pay raise, and I'm going to knock this out. As of now, you're going to knock this out probably in about 2 years. Instead, $100 a month is still going to take you 2 years minimum to pay that off. But you have zero money for an emergency. What do?
You staple your broken leg together.
You call a friend.
You gotta get money somewhere, right?
Oh.
So
If it's taking
probably
Sorry.
probably the bank or somewhere. I mean, you gotta get a loan, I guess. Or-
Okay, you get a loan, you're going deeper into debt.
Right, but what
But not
other
credit card
option
debt.
do you have?
Are you
Well,
saying
it's
there's
sitting
no
right there.
There is another option.
Sitting right there. You guys
I'm
not see it?
listening.
Could you do
Debt.
instead of
No.
$100?
Pay more.
Okay, listen to Cassie.
Instead of doing like $100 in debt or $100 paying it off, do $80 a month and put the 20 in like a
Bingo.
That's it.
Okay, so it's going to take you longer, but you're now squirreling away. You know how squirrels get the nuts and then they go swirl? Okay, so now you're paying $80 because you're putting $20 into a separate fund. Okay? This is not, woohoo, we got $20, let's go party. No, this is untouchable. This is called an emergency. Only in a case of an emergency. An emergency is not, I need a new dress, I need a new pair of shoes, I need a new baseball, I need a new whatever. It's not an emergency. An emergency is, I can't get to work unless I get my car fixed. Or I can't walk unless I get my broken leg fixed. But that's the biggest downfall, is you put this money away and then you walk in and you see your $20, $30, $40, $60, $80, and in 5 months you've got $100 towards your emergency fund. The ideal emergency fund amount is $1,000. So that can be your goal. But that's not $100 like, well, let's go have dinner, let's go do something else. Okay, so what time do y'all close? Or get out?
Whatever.
We don't.
Okay.
We don't really have a set schedule. It's just whatever we go to is what we go to.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you some questions. Derek is not allowed to answer.
Derek.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay, so what do you think in America as of 2016, because that's the stats I have, that the average income before taxes, y'all all understand part of your money goes to the government every month?
Yes.
Okay, every pay period.
Not part.
Okay, so
All of it.
your income, the average income of an American, average, okay, income before taxes
Are we doing
Was
a
it
year
75?
or like every
for the whole year. What
Is
do
it
you-
per family or individual?
50,000.
for an individual?
Kind of like.
Okay, 35,000.
Are you testing our memory of what was on the board?
No,
Okay.
because we haven't put this up. Okay, so what do y'all think?
30,000 every year.
So you think that's the average
Average.
of an American?
Yes.
Okay, so 30,000. Anyone else have anything different?
I'm guessing 30 and 35,000.
The average is like 40,000 if you're like something, and then you put taxes into it, so I'll say like $65,000 a year.
You think 65 is okay?
Because if you do the 20% that they take out every paycheck, or it's however much you make.
Okay. Anyone else have something different?
I'll say 35.
You're just trying to start conflict, aren't you, Cole?
I mean, he kind of said what I said. but I was going
2016.
35.
My brain hurts.
Okay, so we've got anywhere from 30,000 to 65,000. Anyone have anything different? You think it's too high, too low? Okay, we're good. Okay, now let's look at the average amount for food.
Oh wow. Yearly?
Okay? Yearly.
Oh.
So
For a single
you
person.
might need to pull out your phones and multiply, like, okay, I think I spend maybe $50 a month or $600 a month or whatever. Okay, so yearly, how much do you think Americans average food? Let's make it, we'll make it easier, make it 2 categories. One will be food that you eat at home, so groceries, and one will be eating out at restaurants.
Oh man.
That's a lot of money for restaurant food.
That is a lot.
For a restaurant.
Okay, what do you think at home?
I have a question.
Yes.
I still live with my mother, and she gets my grandma and her get the groceries. Do I
No, we're not talking about
try and figure out the home? Because I don't want to know.
You
No,
don't
leave
wanna
me.
know?
No, I'm pretty sure I know what it is every week. And I don't know.
Okay, well, what do y'all think? How much do you think Americans spend at home, average, on food?
5,000
5,000 a year, okay?
a year, yeah.
Anyone have anything different?
I think it's higher than
Yeah, I think it's a little
Think
bit.
it's higher?
Yeah.
What do you think?
10,000.
Oh, I
This is,
have
this,
but
now, this
it's
is
not-
not per family, this is per person,
Oh, well then,
okay?
yeah, I still think it's higher, but I don't know.
I think
Yeah,
10.
that might be about.
You think 10,000?
Yes.
I'm gonna say
I think it's between
6.
5,000 and 10,000, so maybe 7,000.
If you're
So if it's over 55.
10,500.
Okay, now, what do you think Americans spend eating at restaurants?
So much.
2,000.
Like,
Oh, I was
2,400. That's where I'm going.
told
Oh, if you're
together.
putting them together, then that's probably
Okay,
right.
so Cole, you wanna change your answer?
I'll just
Can I
say that's the
friend?
total for both. I don't know.
Wait a minute.
50-50. 2,500,
Okay, so
2,500.
let's say everybody agree? Carrie, you think it's different?
I mean,
Seems
eating out
right.
is way more money.
Okay, so what do you think?
I don't know.
Throw me a number.
I just
Right there says you spend $200 a month eating out.
that's right.
That's what
What is the average
So divide
person?
this by 12, that's what you're saying.
to eat out.
To eat out every meal.
Okay, okay, so we're good with this, we can move on?
Sure.
Okay, what do you think the average
We use it more.
housing is? And this is house payment, rent, apartment, it doesn't matter. This is the average
Oh, man.
housing for an American.
It's not gonna be fun.
Nope.
Oh man. You guys are gonna
20.
hate this when it's done.
Okay, now this is not for a family, this is per person. So if you're thinking 80,000, and that would be a house for a family of 4, then you would divide that by 4. But if you think 80,000 and that house of 4 would be 32,000, or 320,000.
Huh? I thought you said divide.
Yeah, but she's saying on the flip
Per
side.
person. So per person, how
I'm
much do you
saying
think we're
it's
spending for
80,000
housing?
per person.
20,000.
You say 80?
I'm thinking more 8,000.
8,000? Kill my foot on this. Okay, Cole, what'd you say?
20.
20 per person? Okay. Anyone different? You think, so within this range, that's a pretty big range.
The average, yeah.
Okay. Okay,
Food, housing, and cars are the biggest 3 American expenditures where everybody puts their money.
He's in business school.
Prove it.
okay. Now, more fun stuff. Clothing. How
Clothing.
much do you think the average American spends on clothing?
Male or female?
I don't know.
Male and female, yeah.
Shoes are expensive. So
They need to.
Hey, that's how much I spend on clothes versus what Orlando spends on clothes.
Fair point. Fair point.
Yeah. Okay.
I can blame that.
Okay. So what do y'all think?
I don't know on this one.
Per year, I haven't bought clothes since like senior year.
I'm pretty
Okay, this
frugal with
is
clothing.
not y'all
But average.
necessarily. This is the average American. So everyone from your age to 80.
Well, they're like, I need my spring clothes, and I'm like, you don't need your spring clothes.
So I buy $100 Nikes a month.
Somebody buys that.
Why?
That's
The shoes
$1,200.
last you
Tom
long. $160 pair of shoes.
Thomas Closet.
And I've had
Or what's it
them for
called?
years.
Oh my goodness, we're just swag.
Yeah.
That's just like,
Okay,
I said episode today was
I have no numbers, guys.
I'm
Sorry.
clothing 100,000.
A lot.
I'll say
Think about it.
2,000.
Yeah, I was just gonna say
2,000.
Number I
1,200.
came up with on my own.
Proud of you.
1,200.
Look at you.
I wasn't helping. I wasn't helping.
People's answers.
Okay.
It lasts
The
1,200.
average person, though, I don't know.
Shoes every
And
year.
then
Might rather
2,000.
be the 2,000.
Anyone
that's
for the average
ridiculous.
I don't
different?
do any
Every
of this.
Anything different?
No, that sounds right actually.
Okay, so something between that. Okay, let's
She's
talk
probably the
transportation.
Oh boy.
That's gonna be the most.
Yeah, let's see.
Does that include the car payment or just like gas and
Gas.
Okay,
insurance?
it includes your vehicle. Okay, so you got to think real seriously on this.
Oh man.
Okay, this includes your vehicle purchase, gasoline and motor oil, and other vehicle expenses, which will be registration of your vehicle and repairs.
Goodness.
Okay, so not that you would buy a car. No, don't include the price of a car. But say you buy a $30,000 car, and you take out a loan for 5 years, and you divide that by 5, and you're paying $6,000 a year. Not really, but for the sake of this, okay? So transportation, including the vehicle, the gas and oil, and other. What do y'all think?
Hold on.
To do the math.
Oh, that's 5. Okay.
Let's say 15,000.
Yeah. I second that.
Okay,
Not too high. A little high, maybe.
Okay. You think 15,000? You think that's too high?
A little high, but that's.
What do you think?
Like
I don't know.
1,200.
Give me a lower number.
1,000.
1,000 a year?
Not 12,000.
Oh.
Yeah, I was thinking.
Oh, that's what I meant. Yeah, I said 1,200. I meant 12,000.
12,000?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what
I was thinking
Close, maybe 10.
50.
Okay.
500 more, you know.
Okay, let's do healthcare.
Yeah, I guess.
Ugh.
Oh.
Wait, what?
Now,
Healthcare.
Healthcare equals, now remember, this is 2016 before
Obamacare.
we had Obamacare, but it keeps going up crazy high. So it's probably going to be a little less than, it'll be a lot less than 2017. But anyway, healthcare, which is your health insurance as well as going to the doctor, getting glasses, braces, whatever. So what do you think we spend?
1,000.
A month? You mean a month?
I have no idea.
Way more
Right.
than that.
Braces cost.
For the
us
entire
$1,000.
year.
That's why they're like $2,000.
This includes what you're spending on insurance.
$1,000, man. I'm gonna work where you work.
Okay, so Jonathan, you think
Maybe Cole just
1,000?
doesn't have any insurance.
1,800 is what I'm doing.
And
Think
you're
about it.
saying 1,800.
This cannot stand. You guys have
Okay,
to be
what else?
realistic.
We
How
keep
about
going.
way higher
$1
up?
billion.
How high?
Yeah,
Not
that sounds
high,
right.
That's too much.
Yeah.
How high, Carrie? Haven't gotten a number from you yet.
I definitely said 7,000.
You're
Oh, you did? Okay. Let me see. What do you think?
Let me think for a minute.
But
Okay.
Do you guys think
a
it's in the
guess.
double digits?
Are you asking me? I can't
Say what I
participate.
said.
Do you
What
think
do you mean
it? Do you
double
No, I
think
think it's way
it's
more than that.
It's more than
20,000?
10. It's more than 10.
Okay.
Double it.
So-
More than $10, which is a double digit.
8,000.
Okay. Okay.
Well, anything more than 9 is a double digit. So.
Just double it.
I don't know what health insurance costs. I have no
What's
idea.
that?
I don't know what health insurance costs.
It's a lot.
You guys
That's
think
very high.
that's
Yeah,
about
I say
$20,000?
8,000?
Well,
Okay.
my monthly payment for
Okay.
health insurance is
So this is what we've got for healthcare. Anywhere from 1,000 to
I
8,000.
don't know.
Six.
You say 8,000? Well, that didn't include
I didn't
deductibles
say
or.
8,000. No.
I said 8,000.
Alicia said 8,000.
Yeah.
That was my guess.
What I did was I took
Yeah.
what we paid
Showed
for
Okay.
the, I don't want to think what we paid.
I don't know.
I have no idea. Others I
For
can.
healthcare, like the insurance every month, and then I times that by 12.
Are you guys seeing what's happening on the board?
Okay.
That's what I did, because it was a year,
The
right?
top line.
Okay.
Okay. So
Yeah, no, I noticed that,
entertainment.
Housing.
Double eating out times like 3.
Okay, so your entertainment does not include going out for dinner.
So like internet.
So no.
Movies.
It's so funny. This is the generation gap. To me, entertainment is going out to see a movie, going to a museum,
But Netflix.
going out,
Like if you're
and for
online
y'all, it's
viewing.
internet and
Wait.
stuff.
Yeah, Netflix is
Skydiving.
That's entertainment.
90.
Going to the opera, going to the
This is
music
a year?
Yeah, so
per year. How much do you think the average American spends on entertainment?
$96 if you're talking about Netflix.
Yeah.
She knew that number.
Plus 300. So wait.
Okay, give me a number.
You guys said together.
$500.
I think it's more than that.
What? A month, you mean?
No.
I think it's more than that.
500 for a year.
I
okay.
say like
No.
2.
Wait, okay.
2,000.
So, at America in the entertainment industry, are you kidding me?
Okay.
It's gonna be,
Yeah.
it's gonna be up there with housing,
5,000.
transportation.
$1 billion.
That's what I'm doing.
Up there with housing?
I'm
No.
just guessing at this point.
It's
I just
not
say
going up there with
all that.
Are you
housing.
kidding me? Tell me one American who says, you know what, I think I can do without entertainment today.
But who is
No
spending
one.
the
Okay,
same amount on
so
entertainment
sad
they are on
that
their
it's
housing?
Okay, guys. Okay, now we're going to do cash contributions.
Oh boy.
Oh, so like donating to charity?
Yep.
Okay. Who's charity?
The average person you're
Get
with?
$1.
What do you think the
Give it all, get it all.
average American gives per year?
I don't know.
Americans are
This is
greedy,
probably gonna be
so I don't
really
know.
depressing.
Like not that much.
I
Yeah, no. Right.
Because
just
every time
donated
that they go
$50 to my job
they're
last
like,
month.
$1 for
We
the
were
child,
doing this
whatever,
video, I
and you're
think,
like,
to
no.
Junior Diabetes Research Foundation.
Every time, so $50.
Backwards.
Do you never get any for
I'm gonna say 200.
A month?
Because that's what I do every
A year.
I'm gonna say 1,000. And
I'm
then
lowballing
might
all
be
these last
being
ones.
generous.
Okay. This is the average American.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think the average American
donated like $100.
donates very much.
That's true.
Okay, so y'all are saying anywhere from 200 to 1,000. Yeah?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's talk insurance.
Oh,
I thought that was
Going back up
healthcare
there.
thing.
This is life insurance.
Oh.
But I think it also includes like and Social Security. They've lumped Social Security in here. Pensions and Social Security. Okay. Hi, Emma. Hi. I don't know exactly what they mean, but for personal insurance, we'll just go with that. Your personal life insurance. How much do you think the average American in 2016 spent per year just on their life insurance?
it varies though, because
Age.
someone my age would pay like $50, but someone who's like 70 is gonna pay $400.
Right. So what do you think the
Find
average
the middle
is?
ground.
Also keep in mind that most young people probably don't get
Yeah.
life insurance.
So maybe when they're like in their 40s, they start thinking about it. I don't know. Or when they're married.
Nobody knows on this one. You can tell none of us are paying for life insurance.
Well, I think his numbers are
I
pretty
think
close.
we have like people that I would know that pay life insurance. Okay.
Okay, so none of y'all are on your own, which means you're not paying your insurance. I mean, none of you are completely on your own, so you're not paying your insurance. Okay, so let me just throw this out to you. We have life insurance on Victoria for $25,000 policy. It sounds morbid, but that basically would cover a funeral, and that's why you get insurance on young people like you guys. We pay $17 a month. So, yeah. So, because she doesn't skydive or anything like that. Okay,
Not
so
yet.
that's her. Now think maybe someone older, and then you get more into your average. So that kind of gives you a baseline of what y'all would be paying, but not what I would, or even Derek would be paying. So what do y'all think? Just per year.
For me right now, it'd probably be a little bit over 100 a month for me. Somewhere close to that. So maybe baseline, perhaps. At least that's what I was paying. But I had a really big policy.
1,800.
Okay, I'm gonna say 1,800. I'm gonna put 1,200 because Derek said 100 a month. It's 1,800. Okay, so y'all ready for this?
No.
You wanna see how off you are, or how accurate you are?
I'm so excited.
I'm scared that most of it's gonna be us when she said
Lines
off
are about to
first.
be blown.
She said off.
I feel like the
first,
average
yeah,
income
so-
one is
So,
gonna
like, I feel like we're so
be
off.
way off.
Except for the restaurants.
Okay,
And,
do
like,
you
the
think
average
the
food.
average income is gonna be lower or higher?
I think it's gonna be higher.
Yeah.
I think it's I don't know. 65,000.
I really don't know.
This is 2016, remember? Okay, I hope this erases, yeah. Okay.
Darn, I knew it.
Yeah.
That's the average income per American.
Wait, is that 74,000?
74,000.
Oh man, it was close.
I was wanting to say 75. Just
I was
'cause-
closest.
Okay,
Didn't you- Sorry.
food at home. Y'all think it's higher or at home? You said anywhere from 2,500 to 10,000.
Well,
Okay.
5,000.
Food at home was
It's pretty good.
Darn.
okay. So that's the one at home.
That's a year.
Restaurants.
Jeez.
I was
So,
close.
7.
I was close. I thought it was
Okay.
That's not bad.
less. No, for a year.
Okay.
5,
Housing,
7.
you said it was 8,000 to 20,000.
200.
This is the average. 18,000. The average housing.
Like paying for houses.
Paying for a house, renting an apartment, living in a mobile home, paying for buying a tent. Okay, clothing actually went down in 2016,
Nice.
1803.
You guys are doing pretty good.
Transportation also went down because of the low oil prices.
Oh, sorry.
Whoa.
It's not as high as I thought it
Wow.
would be.
Yeah.
I'm still.
Okay, healthcare. $46.12.
Whoa, it's way lower than I thought.
I know.
Yeah, it's
It-
not
it-
bad.
it's like it doesn't make sense, but think about the people who don't have insurance,
Yeah.
and that's what brings that number down so much. Okay, entertainment is 2913. Cash contributions, people are more generous than grant things. That's still really low. Okay, think about this. If this is the average income, and this is the average contributions, that's really sad. Really sad. Okay,
If you
and
think about it,
then
$1,000 really wasn't that far off. Come on.
life insurance, they say $322.
A year?
Yeah.
Well, most people don't carry it though.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of people don't. Okay, so of these, what do you think is expendable? Or I don't really need that? Or okay, let me rephrase
All of
this.
it.
We need income, right?
Yeah.
We need food. Do we need
You don't need to
restaurant
eat out
food?
every.
Right.
No, you don't
So
need
I
to
do,
restaurant
but-
this can be cut,
So much money.
drop down.
But
I mean,
spend more.
Granted, we live in a time and a place that to say I will not eat out all year is probably impossible.
Yeah, I couldn't do that.
Okay,
Josh almost
so
Yeah, he did. He went for a
our
long
thing
time.
is that if we go out like on a date night, that's when we go out to eat, or if it is like I have nothing at the house and our schedules have been so busy and I haven't been able to cook. So we really try to monitor that. The reason is not just because of this 3154, but when you eat out, the food is so bad for you. Even when you eat out at a good place, the sodium content and the fat content of the foods are off the charts horrible. So you keep doing this, and you're going to see this number go up. Housing, we all need housing. We definitely need clothes.
Goodwill.
Yeah, there are things you can cut. Healthcare, you kind of have to do healthcare, or you get taxed on it. Entertainment, can we cut this
Yeah.
if we have to?
And half.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can cut this.
I call that. I can't give up movies. You just.
Okay, so
I just needed football and baseball and all that stuff.
So let me tell you what I value that a lot of people don't. I value life insurance. You don't buy life insurance for you, you buy life insurance for your loved ones. Okay? You're buying life insurance. Like Derek doesn't have life insurance on himself for Derek. He has life insurance on himself for Jen and the kids. Okay? We don't have life insurance on Victoria, so Victoria could get the money if she were to pay. That's just, you don't do that. And so you don't want to put your family in a bad position. Now, do you need it at your age? Maybe not. But when you're married, like when you get engaged, you should be going and getting life insurance the next day. Okay? It's really important. This, to me, is also huge. And it's not because I do accounting at the church. It is because that is our part. When we say I want to be like Jesus, Jesus was a giver. right? He was the ultimate giver. Gave his life on the cross. So when we're not giving of things that we hold very dear to us, which is this, then we're not being like Jesus. And so it is always exciting to me when I have the chance to give, because it's like I'm able to give. So, okay, so I'm going to kind of just give you these. This is what you can line your hamster cage with it, or you can...
Can anybody add all that up?
Yeah, I'm good at math, but I'm very talented for that.
Can anybody add it?
I'm trying to make a point,
I'll add it up.
Derek.
I'm very curious.
All right.
I can-
Well,
Oh,
on here, what I did not do is your average annual expenditures. So for the average American, we're not too bad. For 2016, the average income was $74,664. The average expenditure was $57,311.
Nice.
So that really isn't too bad.
Fundraising, actually.
Wait,
Say that again.
wait,
I
hold on.
wasn't-
It's this
On the-
part right there.
That was before taxes though, right? So you take out 30% for taxes and you're over it.
Could be, yeah,
That'd burn you.
yeah.
Dang. That's crazy.
Yeah, the government does take out taxes. President Trump is trying to reduce taxes, so hopefully that'll help. Okay, gosh, it's late, so I don't want to do this here, but I want you to take this home and think about it. Because we spent more time on this than what I wanted, but I wanted you to see what reality is. And we often think reality is different, and then that's what we get into trouble with. So if you look on student activity 1-4A, just turn over a page or two. They're setting up and maintaining a personal budget. So the way this works is for your what you budget and what is actual aren't necessarily the same thing. So does everyone understand what I mean by that? Anybody? I need to explain that.
Wait, what did you say?
Okay, so what you budget and what you actually have could be two different things. Okay, so I'm going to go over this real quick with you. I'll let you go. I know y'all are tired. Okay, so for you got your budget, and then you got your actual. And then you got the difference. Okay, so for your income, let's say, well, I work X number of hours, I work X number of dollars per hour, and so therefore on this next paycheck, I expect my paycheck to be $500. Okay?
I wish.
Okay, so you get your paycheck, and your paycheck is not $500. It's either, maybe it's $450, you had to take some time off work, or maybe you worked overtime and it's actually $600. Okay, so for the sake of positivity, we will say that your paycheck was actually $600, leaving you a difference, keep putting that dollar sign in, leaving you a difference of plus $100. Okay, so then you do that with your jobs. Then your expenses, your rent, maybe, rent is pretty fixed. So let's say your rent is $250, and it actually was $250, and then your difference is $0. Does that make sense? Okay. Same thing for your car insurance, your car payment. Those are pretty much fixed expenses. Then you have fixed irregular expenses, savings, food, utilities, and this is where it gets you into the value of doing a budget. Because for your savings, you can say, yeah, I'm going to put away $20 every paycheck. Okay? So you budget $20 every paycheck, you actually put away $20 every paycheck. But let's say that your food or your utilities, say we have a really cold winter, and your budget, last year you spent $100 on your electric bill, but it got really cold, and so you actually spent $120. And so then the difference is minus 20. And so this kind of just then goes to show you, and the then you can do the rest of this. Okay? But this will help you, especially you guys that are living on your own, and to look and see, okay, this is a snapshot. This is a picture of where I'm at. If you're not living on your own, still in high school, living with your parents, then this can be your goal. Okay, so then if I were teaching an ongoing class, what I would do is say, we would all bring computers next time, and I would say, okay, so your rent, how much do you want to pay in rent? How much do you think you can afford? Okay, now let's do a search on what apartments or houses actually go for that. So to find an apartment where you're only paying $250 a month, what part of town do you think you're going to be in? And
Not so great.
do you think you'll even have a door on that apartment? You know? So,
SWAT team.
or you might have an apartment, but it's a nice apartment, and you've got 3 other roommates, and they're all paying $250. Okay, so that's why you can look at it and say, this is my goal, this is my plan, and this is how I'm going to get there. Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Any questions? Comments? So you can take that home and do that. That's kind of fun. And then on the back side is that setting up and maintaining is medical expenses, clothing, entertainment, and all that. You can kind of see that. Okay, so do you finish out your month and go, oh my gosh, where did all my money go? I got paid and now I have no money. Do y'all ask that question?
It's part of life.
Nobody asked that question. I'm the only one that says, oh my gosh, where did all my money
I see that.
I ask that a lot.
go? Okay, so that's why it's really important to get the budget down, get what you actually spend, and that'll help you see that, and hopefully you won't have to ask that question. You can actually see, oh my gosh, that's where my money goes. Okay, so one other question. So you all have bank accounts, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Do you go online and check your bank accounts?
Yeah. Yes.
How often?
Like every day, because I'm afraid I'm gonna spend too much money. Have a bad day.
Okay, so you're seeing, because banks do make mistakes, so you're seeing you can catch it, and you're also seeing, oh yeah, I forgot, I got that Starbucks and forgot, that's why I'm out $3 or whatever.
$3 is more than
$7.
$3. Maybe if you get a small black coffee.
Okay, all right, thank you guys.
Thank you.